And from my community, I have a lot of people who talk to me about, how did you take the leap? Like, how did you make that change? How did you believe in yourself? And it came down to one thing, and that was, which fear do I choose? So there were two fears. The first was, oh my gosh, but if I leave, I have a solid salary here. So financially I was covered. It was my comfort zone. I knew it day in, day out. I had a routine with it. The third was, this was your dream. Are you going to let go of your dream? I was holding on to that fear of, but the unknown, what's going to happen next? And then that was one side of the fear. The second side of the fear was, okay, but are you still going to be here in 5 years' time? Are you still going to feel undervalued in 5 years' time? Are you still going to be saying to yourself, oh, Nimi, why are you here? Are you still going to be getting out of bed every morning feeling like it's more of a chore than a spring in your step? And that fear outweighed the fear before. I was so scared of staying stagnant that any fear I felt about leaving and taking the leap was just irrelevant to me. Because I was like, I would rather look back and say, I'm so proud you tried, than, oh, I'm so proud you stayed in your little comfort box and, shied away from your potential. Yeah. So if anyone is feeling like they're in that kind of period and scared to kind of take the next step, I would say weigh out your fear. Which one scares you more? Because for me, it was definitely the latter.
That is such a powerful question. And in a very similar vein, a question you could also ask is, which discomfort do you want to choose? It's a very similar question because the reality is it's uncomfortable not pursuing things that you dream about or things that you wish you wanted to do. And it's also uncomfortable pursuing them because you're, dealing with potentially not feeling like you're worthy to do it and self-doubt and the uncertainty and all of that. But then the flip of that is actually just not doing it at all, never trying, never knowing, and being stuck in something that maybe is not setting your heart on fire. So I think just being really honest with yourself, I feel like this is one of those things where if you get that feeling like you described it in your bones, I know that feeling, it's happened, iconic moments in my life where in that moment you have I think it's like twofold. You have that feeling and you acknowledge what's going on, and then it's the action piece. Yeah. And that's obviously the hardest part. But getting raw with yourself, I think, is the most actionable thing you can do because it helps you see what you're like at a fork in a road. Yeah. Right. And it's like, okay, which one do I want to go for? So I think that's really good advice for anybody listening. And really you can apply that to any juncture or crossroad in your life with anything, relationships, decisions with your health, you know what I mean? Like pick your fear or pick your discomfort.
100%. And I would say that your body tells you exactly what you want. And this is something that I've kind of learned to listen to. We talk about listening to our mind and our heart all the time, but our body is so aligned with us in the sense that if I feel something in my bones, that term exists for a reason, right? Because you feel it in your core, in your gut. I have a 5-second rule where I'm like, okay, as soon as I feel something, I hold on to that because in 5 seconds, my mind's going to start convincing me of otherwise. My mind's going to start convincing me, no, don't leave because what about money? What about this? What about stability? What about, but you want to be able to afford, a house next year. How are you going to be able to do that? All these little elements of life that come through, the extras that really don't contribute to your core, your mind convinces you otherwise of what your body tells you. So I set a 5-second rule. As soon as I have thought and felt something, I instantly am aware that my mind's going to kick in any second and I need to hold that piece. I need to hold that core gut feeling I'm getting. I need to hold on to that. And I would say that a lot of us avoid it. A lot of us ignore it because it's probably the easiest thing to do. And so that kind of discipline has really changed the game for me in decision making and taking these kind of leaps.
So when it comes to finding your voice, what does that actually mean? Because I think there may be a lot of people listening who've not even considered what is my voice? Does, even now that I'm thinking about it, okay, it's the physical thing, it's my voice, but what does that mean in terms of how I portray myself to the world, and how do people go about locating what that even is for them?